Anytime I got in an elevator with somebody and I said hello, it was a constant negative reaction back. And I thought, wow, what if we just say, I'm having a wonderful day? And then that's what I encourage my students to do. Step in an elevator, break norms, social norms, and say, I feel phenomenal today.
It's so easy to complain. We complain when it's convenient, or when there's nothing to talk about, or even when there is something to talk about. Complaining is, for some reason, a central part of our communication.
The R in gripe stands for remove responsibility. People will complain as a way of taking themselves out of being responsible. I'm no longer culpable for the situation. It has nothing to do with me. I've given it to you. Complaining is like societal hot potato. Here you go. You take it. Not mine anymore. No give backs. I complained. I gave it to you. People will complain to me sometimes and I'll say, why don't you do something about it? And they'll say, I did. I just complained to you. I'm done. Hot potato. It's yours now. People complain to remove themselves from responsibility. It's no longer mine. The word responsible is best broken down, I feel, into able to respond. You are respond able. You are responsible. What can you do in the situation to change it, rather than just griping to other people? The greatest example of a person who did not just complain was the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. In 1963, Dr. King spoke on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and Dr. King did say that the United States had written the American Negro a check which had been returned marked insufficient funds. But we don't remember that as the bad check speech. We remember it as, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day this nation, and indeed the world, will judge people by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. Dr. King was able to respond. He did not just stand there and say, ain't it awful, and get everybody all upset. Instead, he hung a picture in people's minds, a picture that let them see clearly what he saw from his vision and his view from the mountaintop. He invited us into his dream.
I complain way less. I don't worry about, like, when my father asks me for a favor or anything. I just say okay and I do it right away. So
I remember my last complaint. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't complained since I completed my 21 days, but I do remember my last real complaint and how silly it was. And I've shared it with all the students and the staff at school because it made it much easier for me to continue on.
I had been divorced for 20 years, and I swore I'd never remarry.
And so had I.
And this was 9 years ago. And I hadn't spoken to my daughter for 3 years. And we'd had a falling out. I got involved in this work, and then things started changing. And all at once I started attracting. And positive things happened, and now I'm happily married. We live in bliss nearly 100% of the time. And I speak to my daughter sometimes daily. And prosperity follows us, and bliss follows us, and good health follows us, and I feel sorry. I really hurt for the people that don't want to go down this path.
So people complain to G, get attention, R, remove themselves from responsibility, and the I in gripe stands for inspire envy. People complain to inspire envy. Complaining is a form of bragging. Think about it. You don't complain about people who are like you. You complain about people who are not like you. And in so doing, you are saying, and I don't have the particular character flaw about which I am complaining. Test this. See if you complain about people who drive like you or people who don't drive like you. I tend to drive a little fast. My assistant Julie tends to drive a little slow. I drive just slow enough so as not to get a speeding ticket. Julie drives just fast enough not to get a parking ticket. Now, oftentimes when Julie is driving me to the airport, I'm thinking, would you please speed up? For gosh sakes, gum wrappers are passing us. And when Julie rides with me, I can tell she is every bit as upset, as evidenced by the claw marks in the dashboard. Would I please slow down? You don't complain about people who drive like you. Because you're saying that they are like you and therefore they are good. People who do not drive like you have some sort of character flaw and therefore you're better than they are. Complaining is bragging. It is done to inspire envy. Complaining is also a form of bragging, and it's a way of saying that your standards haven't been met, that you are an arbiter of such fine things that the fare that has been presented doesn't measure up to your standards. In the movie Hitch with Kevin James and Will Smith, Kevin James is dating an heiress, and she takes him to a party with a bunch of snooty friends, and at the party, she asks one of the friends, "So how was this new restaurant that just opened in Manhattan?" And he goes, "It was disgusting. It was disgusting." And she turns to another friend and says, "How was the new Broadway show that just opened?" And he goes, "Disgusting, disgusting." They are saying that their standards are so high that even one of the finest restaurants in Manhattan and a Broadway show don't measure up to their standards. They are complaining to inspire envy, to brag.
Well, for myself, usually I'm easygoing and I'm not complaining a lot, you know. But my wife says I'm the worst when I'm behind the wheel. When I'm driving, other drivers, you know, I get mad. And then this day, we just have an ordinary car and all those big SUVs around us and everything. And bicycle riders, they just make up any rule they want as far as where they go, and I worry about them because they come at you from, you know, some crazy direction. And so I really have, it's been very helpful for me to wear this while I'm driving and to remember that and to keep my temper under control when I'm driving.
My cousin was going to college and my aunt was at my house, like, taking care of her and all that. And we told my aunt not to lock the back door because we needed to get in because we were getting back from camping that week. And so she accidentally locked the back door, and I was getting pretty mad. And then my dad had to climb through the bathroom window with a ladder, and I usually would have complained there, but I didn't.
So the G stands for get attention, the R stands for remove responsibility, the I stands for inspire envy, and the P stands for power. Gary Zukav in The Seed of the Soul said that people complain as a way of lobbying others to a majority position of control. It's about controlling a situation. People will complain to you to get you on their side so that they then have this power over the situation. We see this in the United States about every 4 years with the political elections, the presidential campaigns. Now, really, if you are an ardent supporter of one political party, does the other political party really feel that they're going to get you to all of a sudden change parties as a result of their negative campaigning? Of course not. But what they are hoping to do is to frustrate you enough with your own party so much that you don't vote. And then they move one step closer to the White House.